Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome to the Mondays with Margaret series, where I am very close to finishing most of Atwood's work. Today I am talking about the final book in the MaddAddam trilogy. Now, with all of the work that I'm doing in the library, and I've been moving things around, I have put the novel someplace and I can't find it right now. I literally know where every other Atwood book is, and I will find this one again soon, I'm sure, but it just means that I will have to put a picture up. So MaddAddam was published in 2013, and it completes the story starting in Oryx and Crake. And the trilogy is interesting, since the first two books are telling the same story from different perspectives. So there really isn't much movement, but this third book does move forward in time as the Crakers, who are the genetically modified human beings, they begin to build a new society after the deadly epidemic. And if you've been following along with the trilogy, then you will already know, all of the characters that I talked about in the past. The title MaddAddam is a palindrome, meaning that the word is the same forward and backward. I do think that Atwood did this intentionally. I actually think she does everything intentionally, but I'm not sure why exactly, other than the fact that there is a lot of wordplay throughout the entire trilogy, and Atwood seems to enjoy wordplay, and I know that I've mentioned before how she likes to create new words, and this has happened throughout a lot of her writing. So since last week was about Atwood's nonfiction book about science fiction, I thought that I would use some of the categories that she talks about in that book in order to take a look at MaddAddam. First, she makes a distinction that she doesn't actually think of this trilogy as apocalyptic. Because in an apocalypse story, everything is destroyed. And for Atwood, she says that's not the case here. We continue to follow the two main women from Year of the Flood, Toby and Wren. And Amanda also takes on more of a role in this book. And one of the things that Atwood mentions is part of science fiction is sex and sexuality. And that is definitely in the entire trilogy, and in MaddAddam in particular. Without giving anything away, the paintballers rape one of the women. And we already know that the Crakers have supposedly large penises, which turn blue when they are aroused. And in this novel, there are children that will be born who will be like a combination of humans and Crakers. So it brings up this whole idea of a new species that is beginning. And another thing that Atwood mentioned in her nonfiction book, which was called In Other Worlds, was an odd sense of humor. And that definitely existed in this story as well. And if I had my copy of the book, I would have read a passage about this imaginary person named O.F. Word. Okay, so the Crakers, especially the Craker children, call people by their name. So it would be Oh Toby, Oh Jimmy. And at one point, one of the characters says, Oh F word. And the Craker children get so excited and they start asking a million questions like, who is this Oh F word? Where is Oh F word? And Toby and others, need to come up with a story about this character that doesn't actually exist based on the F word, because there's really no way of explaining what the F word means to the Crakers. They can't really explain it in a way that they would understand. So the way that this is written and the way that it's brought up throughout the story was hysterically funny to me. I laughed out loud many times. And of course, it shows Atwood's unique sense of humor too, and that she would write it the way that she did. So one of the biggest themes in this novel was storytelling. Toby becomes the storyteller, and scattered throughout the novel there are various stories that Toby decides to tell the Crakers about where they come from, the history of this collapse of civilization, and how various people have survived. And these stories are a mix. They're both fiction and truth, and the Quaker children just eat it up. And I think it's Atwood's way of showing how important stories are for society, which to me makes sense. Like, we have creation stories in religion. People love to hear stories about their birth and, different family stories. And I just think that these are all an important part of who we are. And in this case, they are trying to create a new society. So the stories, will have an impact. And then probably the last thing that I want to mention about MaddAddam is the ending. I won't give away any spoilers, but the ending was, I thought, really sad, and I wasn't expecting it to end the way that it did. I am really glad that I read this trilogy. This is not the type of book or story that I would normally gravitate to or that I would pick up on my own. It's not my favorite Atwood writing, but because I am reading her works in order of publication, it has made sense to me and shown this side of who she is, especially alongside her nonfiction book. So if you are a big science fiction fan and you have read this trilogy, I would love to hear your thoughts, because, I am wondering if it holds up against other science fiction that you've read. I'd love to hear, what you liked, what you didn't like. So please let me know if you have read the MaddAddam trilogy. And if you think of Atwood as a science fiction writer, I don't really think of her in that way. And of course, I know that she has written nonfiction, science fiction. So please let me know. Would you like her to write more science fiction? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.